communities like Data Science Nigeria. So like I think attending their boot camps and also attending their meetups like will help a lot, because you'll be able to like meet different kind of people from diverse fields and like also learn from them. Like I mean, when I mean diverse field, that people that are also like learning machine learning, and they're also learning data science, but like they have different backgrounds, people that study different kind of things, and like you will be able to network with them. Also networking with them like have different like it has different advantages. Like you get challenged and like motivated by them, like, and also you can also get opportunities from them. Like if you network with people in this field, you can get maybe internship opportunities or job opportunities from them. So another thing is like participating in hackathons. Like when I mean hackathons, like all these Zindi challenge and Kaggle challenge, like that will help a lot in building your portfolio, because like if you want to actually start working in a firm like as a data scientist, you might need to like showcase your skills. So if you have worked on like projects, maybe real life projects or like some challenges, or maybe you have a good profile on these platforms where they do competitions, it will help you, like it will create opportunities for you to like show your skills, for you to get internships and all these job opportunities. Also, like you need to get like a mentor in the field. Like they will keep like pushing you, and like they'll push you beyond your limits. You need somebody that will be able to like guide you and like tell you when you are doing the right thing and when you are not like following the right paths. Like somebody that will constantly measure your progress over time. And also like you need to always challenge yourself to keep learning new things. Like any opportunity you see, like you see an online course, like you just want to take it. You see people posting free opportunity or maybe hackathons, like you just always want to learn more. That's the culture of a data scientist. So like
Do I have to like maths or be good in maths to be a data scientist?
yes, you need to have a background of, like, you don't need to have the background of maths, but like you need to like know maths, because most of all these machine learning models, like they were written, like many of them were built with maths in like with maths. So like you need to understand how they work, so that you know how those mathematical stuff could affect your models. And like maybe, yes, you need to understand them. So like for example, there are some models that work well with scaling, while some don't work well with scaling. So if you understand the mathematical concept, you know how to like undo each kind of models or algorithms differently. So mathematics will help a lot too, and statistics too. So
Thank you for mentioning stats. So somebody like me that scored D in my last statistics course in uni, I'm out. I don't
no,
qualify. I don't
you're not
qualify.
you're not
Okay,
out.
I'm
Like
listening. Okay, inspire
yeah.
me, motivate me to try. Because I'm already like, it's not
Yeah.
people like Muti that they're looking for.
No, you're not out. Like all you need to do is to just like take courses and take relevant courses, not just anyhow course. Like courses that they explain well, or they can like demystify everything very well. So like I don't think you not having a background in statistics, or you like having a bad background in statistics will help. Like like you can still pick up. So
Okay,
another
so one
thing
of
is
my
that,
friends,
yeah.
talking of background, one of my friends says that can a 45-year-old with digital marketing background learn and start a career in data analytics?
Yes, like data analytics like have different fields like that you can apply it to. Like it's a skill set that like even almost everybody is supposed to have. So like you could apply data analytics to like marketing, as is like in that have field. So all you need to do is to like know like the aspects that you need to learn for that your field, or for that particular aspects. So that's where
Oh, okay.
domain,
So,
yeah.
oh, this is interesting. I'll come back to that. So, what you're saying is, I'm in the media industry, for instance. So, I can be a data analyst for the media industry.
Yes, you can be analyzing news and everything, maybe sentiments across different platforms, like, or what people are saying about the news online, or like you can analyze. In fact, like the news that they post on all these blogs, like many of them, they appear in a particular order, and it's based on like maybe recommendation system. Like they don't just appear on the website anyhow. Like there are some models that like make them appear um, on that
Oh,
platform in a particular way. So there are
okay,
different
very
ways.
good.
Yeah. So
Okay,
another thing is that,
ah,
is that
okay, I'm listening.
another thing is that there are so many courses online there, like, and many of them are free, because like data science like is everywhere now. You hear the noise almost everywhere. So like one has to be very careful, like in like not being tempted to take everything at once. Like the most important thing is taking the relevant ones, and like not trying to do each one of them halfway. It's better to learn just one very well than like just learning different ones halfway and not being able to get anything out of them. So that's another thing I would say. Then also working on relevant personal projects. You don't have to, like, you can just pick up a personal project. Maybe you can see that, for example, something is trending on Twitter. Let's say maybe two candidates for presidential election, like they are tweeting and two of them are trending. You could just decide to extract the tweets online and like try to like maybe make some predictions based on their sentiments, or maybe sentiments of the tweets about them, who could like win the election or something like that. Just like, or you could just come up with those personal projects will help in like getting your first relevant experience in that field, like I mean work experience. So like those are the things you showcase when you have interviews or something like that. So relevant
Okay.
projects, personal projects helps a lot. Then also as a data scientist, I think the end goal of every data scientist is solving a problem. Like if you build models, you generate insights, and like it is not adding value to the firm, then like I don't think you have done anything. So like
Hmm.
the end goal, what should be in the mind of a data scientist is like solving problem. That should be the end goal of.
Problem.
So
Okay. Thank
yeah,
you so much. So solving problem, Mrs. Adeboye, if you're listening, solving problem in the fashion industry should be the end goal, and
add
age
value.
doesn't matter. Adding value. How
Yeah.
can you use the data that you are getting from your business and other businesses you've been talking to add value to the industry, right?
What
So
did you
if
say?
I now,
Okay.
I'm just, I think I'm putting what you've said into perspective for the listeners. For instance, my friend who asked if she's too old to start. So she has a business in fashion. So whatever data she has in her business and the ones that she collects from other people,
Yes.
that is, then she analyzes them and use them to add value to the fashion industry.
Yes,
Is
like
that the simple way to put it?
yeah, like there are different ways you can use data from our like industry to like add value to our firm. So number one, she could use okay, let's talk about maybe if she gets feedback from people that purchase or people that patronize her, she could analyze those things and see okay, what people are complaining about, or what people like how are those people being treated or something like that. Getting just having a 360-degree view of the people that she
Whatever.
serves or something like that.
And this can
Then
be applied anywhere. So somebody, I
yes,
saw a question asking something similar, but it doesn't matter what industry it is. Just
yes,
take information that you're gathering, analyze it, and see how you can solve problems and add value. That's
yes,
right.
yes.
Okay, good. So let's have Rasheed. Mr. Rasheed, please come on. You're the next person.
Thank you very much, Mr. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you, sir. Welcome,
Okay, yeah.
sir.
Thank
Okay,
you
so
very
your
much. I
focus.
can do it.
So I heard that you are a lecturer, that you're a teacher. I think that's what I saw, a teacher.
that, 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 that was an information actually.
That I should
I
analyze.
I wouldn't accept that now. Maybe when we when we finish this program.
Okay, so what's the correct information? Because apparently the data I got is not correct.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so the question I have for you, and it's similar to being a teacher and a mentor for a lot of young people, and we have a number of students here that are on this platform right now, and there are some parents who are here because of their words. Who may not resume for the rest of the year because school is out and we don't know when COVID will let us go back. We also have those who are unemployed. What opportunities are there in research that you think any curious mind can make a living from?
Yeah, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone. Yeah, I think I would probably start from what is important for everybody who wants to take their career towards data science and analytics. So number one thing that is very important for everybody is you must design an objective and say, what do you want to do in life? So that's the most important thing, because at a point in time, you would enter this career journey and you will think, what exactly am I doing? So because if you are not seeing the light, you might not be able to actually tell the story better to some other people. And at point in time, you might get stopped and say, oh, what exactly am I doing? And going to that question, I would say that in the last few years, when I started my journey as a data analytics and a data scientist, I designed an objective. And before I even graduated from the university, I had a small business where I actually run data analytics because I have experience in the line of statistics and all of that. So I have the feeling that, oh, I can solve problem for people. So I could remember very well during my my final year in the University of Ife, I had like a team of people who wants to learn from me. I actually converted them um, to my co-workers actually. So what we did then was we took all undergraduate projects. I was in the final year as well. I was running my projects. So I was doing some other people's projects, doing the chapter 4 of their project. And I think during that final year, I made close to like 120,000. You know, it was a very huge money for me that time because, because I felt it was just, so what I did then was, when we go into most of the people that are from Ife here, if you know Aki building, so we'll go into Aki building, architectural building, we'll sit down there because there's always lights in the during that time. You know, most of the students have left the school, so we sit down in the Aki building. I bought granuts, normal granuts now, the boiled granuts. I bought granuts for all my co-workers. Each granite, then they work for me. So there are many softwares I had opportunity and I was exposed to as a demography and social statistics student, University of Ife, SPSS, data programming language, and Epidata for collecting data and inputting data. So it makes it easier for me to actually find my way and create a niche around what exactly I need for myself. So during that time, I made that lot of money. You know, it looks somehow to me that, oh, so if I can do something like this, what doesn't make anything, doesn't require any effort, is just to use your knowledge on statistical knowledge and, you know, analytics knowledge, doing some of the metrics, and you get your money one time. So I would say that for most of the people who are out there today, you who are actually looking forward to see what exactly can you do, what exactly can you put together to get some little funds that you can use to survive because of this pandemic has actually traumatized everybody. You know, currently in my company, you know, we've downsized and it's actually everywhere. You know, so you have a lot of people who are just graduating from the university, they're not doing anything at home. So what I would say is there are ways to actually get funds. So for just last week, I have a student of mine who was a student in the University of Ife then, and then I used to take statistics at my undergraduate level. I take statistics to all the social sciences students, so all the Muslims in the social sciences department and other department who take that particular course, I take them on statistics. So he messaged me and told me that, boss, I don't do Dublin now. I'm in Dublin now, and I'm doing my master's. So he's doing his master's in Dublin, and you know, he wants to analyze is chapter 4 of the chapter 4 of his projects, and he feels, oh, I have someone that can actually do it better more than I do, so, and he sent it to me. There are a lot of people out there who are doing the same, who are doing a lot of projects, and because they have some other things they need to do, not that they can actually lay their hands on some of those things, but they feel that some people are better than them and it could help them get their results and all of that. So it sends to me, and I share with some of my team member in the office that, oh guys, can you quickly run this analysis for me, and let's help this my brother, and we sort it out. So it's an opportunity that you can actually fetch out there, because there are a lot of people, I can remember there are some of my friends who actually did architecture, were living together at the time, and they have like a platform where they get like assignments that they give to different students in universities abroad. They send it to them and they do some of these things to them, and they get paid in dollars. And I must tell you, the best way to get money now is to get paid in dollars. If you're not getting paid in dollars, you are not really making it. Actually, that's the so the concern is.
Thank you. Okay, you were saying the concern is.
So the concern is you need to understand what exactly you need to do, and to get some of those things is very easy. It's just to understand how to get it. Probably connect with someone who understand how to get some of those things, and the opportunities are there in Nigeria as well. It's just that it's very limited. That's what the difference.
Okay, thank you very much. You said something about paying some people with granules, and that stuck with me. Do you still pay them with like that's how you made it to the top, paying people granules, like literally paying people peanuts?
No, not that actually.
That's interesting.
So I was just being sarcastic about that. Everything that comes to my.
But you bought granules for them now, and they ate it. And
yeah, so the beauty of it is when people join you to work with you, you need to make them happy. Because at times when you are getting some of this fund and they are not really seeing it, it looks like, oh, why am I working with this guy and all of that? There are a lot of things we do together. Actually, I was just using that sarcastically.
Okay, nice. I am allergic to peanuts anyway, so if I have to work with you, you would need to step up your game. Okay, so can we have Mr. Kazim? Thank you very much for answering the question. I believe that people would have written something out of it. So would we say that anybody can use research and analysis to make money right now? Anybody? Am I on?
Sorry, was that question to me?
No. Mr. Kazim, yes, the question was for Mr. Rasheed, actually. I wanted the last one before he leaves. Can anybody do it, Mr. Rasheed?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, so I don't think he can hear me anymore. So Mr. Kazim, thank you so much for joining us. The question that we have is also similar to what I just asked. In addition to qualifications, what's the relevance of adding skills to making a decent career in engineering?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you for having me. Okay, so the relevance of adding skill in engineering career cannot be overemphasized, and I will use two scenarios to drive my point home. When I was joining the organization, I didn't join really as a skilled person, in that sense. I joined as a youth service corps member, and the fact that I could speak German, I didn't even see a big deal in that language, and I was just learning the language for fun. Then it dawned on me at the time I was going to conclude my program, before I realized that, well, it's not cast in stone to get employed after your 1 year industrial or 1 year youth service corps. So it was a lot of battle here and there, but in the long run, the fact that being a German company And this very young graduate from the university took the bulls by the horns to learn a foreign language that is not very friendly for anyone to learn, because you will agree with me that German, the fact that it's not popularly spoken here in this our own climate makes it a bit difficult, because when you learn a language and you are not able to speak with people, you tend to lose the whole grammar and all that, and the fluency will be definitely watered down. So that's one thing. I mean, it happened to me, and I'm a beneficiary of that. Skill, as it is, as it were, that particular one is a soft skill. It has nothing to do with the technicality with regards to the job itself. But then the company valued this, and it became a benefit for me, advantage in the long run. Also, we all know that we are all in a turbulent environment. The pandemic has really made it difficult for all businesses, and businesses are really scaling down. They're trying to ensure that all of all irrelevant businesses are taken out of the, because they want to really reduce their cost as much as possible, as much as revenue is also not on the high side. So once you have those rare talents or skills that you've possessed that make you stand different among your peers, it's a great advantage for you. And if a company is looking at reducing employees, you would be the last person that they want to, touch on. So skills is really very key in engineering. There are a lot of key skills. It's bountiful. It depends on the area of engineering that you are really looking into. For example, I finished a bachelor degree in electrical engineering. Then I did a master degree still on engineering, but I now streamline my focus to control engineering, because I already started a career in automation and instrumentation. So I felt, okay, let me just add to what I already knew, or let me make myself more relevant in the industry. So I did control engineering from University of Lagos, and thereafter I see, well, not just knowing technical, not being able to execute projects, not being able to do some system integration as it were in engineering, but then as you also climb your ladder of professionalism, there will be question. I mean, you aspire to be a manager, then you want to know the naira and kobo, how it's being spent, everything. So then I also up on the bandwagon of starting my master's in business admin, which I'm about concluding. I'm just writing my thesis. So beyond the academic skills or the other aspect of engineering, then you need to really differentiate yourself to ensure that you are always relevant. So as it is now, the situation now, like I've been working from home since March 20th, if not even earlier, later earlier than that. So working from home now requires a lot of skills. How well can you use the workspace? I mean, the workspace that you have. How well are you versed when it comes to digitalization? How much do you know about being able to coordinate activities without having to be at a designated office area? So how much can you really do, without having to be physically present at a particular location of office? So the world is really changing, and it's going to keep changing, but no one can really emphasize where the end result is going to take us to. But then to become relevant as we move along, as we move along to become relevant is really key. So we have to also change the way we think. We have to change the way we approach things to ensure that we are always relevant. So it's very key to be relevant in, I mean, as much as possible, get the relevant courses, the relevant skills, soft skills that you need, in your chosen career.
Okay, so you said something about changing the mindset and changing the way you think. Do you think that should come first before anything?
So when I said changing your mindset, for example, well, before the lockdown, we have been practicing what they call flexi work. So where we have a day where we could work from home. Well, basically because of the traffic situation of Lagos. But now the company cannot even afford to have everyone working working in the office space because of the threats to health. So then the company already has a mindset going forward. So they are like for us, for example, we've already agreed to reducing the space that we have in our office to reduce costs. You have to flow with the business decision. So you have to also ensure that you are in line with what the business decision is really dictating.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that's a mindset change for the company itself. As the individual who wants to, stand out, use skills, has individuals here listening who would like to stand out, use their skills, use the skill to compete well in the engineering sector, work with the best companies. Yeah. What kind of skills do you think they need to add up?
Okay, there are vast amount of skills in the field of engineering, and not also limited to engineering anyway. So project management skill is very critical. It's a very sought after skill in the field of engineering. You want to understand how you can manage a complex project. You want to understand how you can really demystify the project, take some leadership roles to handle project from start to finish. So, and there are a lot of certification already, which PMI is organizing. So maybe you want to do some project management courses to achieve that for those that are listening to me. Then beyond project management, there are other skills in the field of engineering. Very good one which comes to mind is for those that are aspiring a career in telecommunication. Well, while we were in school, we saw a lot of people doing some networking courses like CCNA, CCNP, and that has really afforded them a lot of opportunity now because they could do it very well. So CCNP organized by Cisco System is a very key one as well. Also, maybe there's something we call, because in engineering, safety, quality is key. So we have Quality, Health, Safety, and Environment Organization having a lot of certification as well. Those are the things that companies really look at. So companies, for example, are really not charitable. They are not charity organization. They want to see what you can bring on the table when you come to work for them. So they really want to know what value can you bring, on the table. So project management is there. Then also you want to be able to communicate your ideas in a persuasive way. You want to persuade whoever you're talking to. So communication skill is very vital as well. Then also you want to also hone your presentation skills. Those are really very key and vital skills in engineering. So most
Okay.
people really focus more on the technical skill know-how. It's not enough
But
to know how to do the work, but then you should be able to put some soft skill into play, and that helps you a lot.
Okay, thank you. You're probably my favorite person on this panel today because you literally just did an advert for my business. You need communication skills, the rest of the world, and I teach it. Thank you. So thank you. I keep telling them, they don't answer. Thank you for helping me tell them. Okay, so Aisha, you're next. You telling us to get communication skills is somebody who's already communicating our awesomeness to the world. So Aisha, the question is, if I would like to freelance and make extra money on the side, or even just do it full time, well, particularly freelance, what are the websites and organizations that you think that anyone interested in freelancing, content writing, or journalism can approach in order to make good money or good living?
So anybody that wants to freelance as a journalist has to consider many things before they even start thinking about websites or people to approach. For example, I always tell people the truth, like freelancing is hard. So it's very flexible in terms of you're going to have your own time. You can write whenever you want. You're not going to be stuck in traffic going to work, things like that. But work doesn't always come. So on days or months or weeks that work doesn't come, you are broke, pending whenever someone feels like they need a freelancer. So it's very hard. So if you have to like make up your mind that you are ready for it first before you go into freelancing. That's the first thing I'm going to say, because it's not rosy at all. Any freelancer would tell you this. Secondly, I think it really depends on what type of freelancing you want to do. But for writing specifically, I think first of all, hone your skills, because part of what will attract people to you as a freelancer is proof that you can really do the work well. So if you don't have experience, like if you're new, let's say you're a baby and you just want to start freelancing, first thing you need to do is know how to write well. When I say know how to write well, it's not just random opinion pieces or random articles. Go and practice what type of writing you want to do. If you want to be a features writer, that's writing long form stories, go and practice how to write it. Follow people who are great at it and see how they've approached it, things like that. And then if you want to be a news writer, do the same thing. So for freelancing now, you have to identify the specific people who do the specific type of freelancing that you care about, because it's not the same thing. So if you send, for example, me a pitch as someone who wants to write news, I'll be wondering why you're sending me a news pitch, because I'm not a news journalist or a news editor. Like, I write features. So first of all, you have to do your research on the kind of freelance that you want to do before you now start thinking about, oh, okay, you know what, I'm going to identify these people. Then if you're looking for freelance opportunities, think about the media organization that you want. So for example, if you want to freelance for Guardian Nigeria, find out who their editor is, go on LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever, just Google it. I'm sure if you go on LinkedIn and Google Guardian Nigeria and check the list of employees, you're bound to find one of their editors. If it's news, find their news editor. See, the email address of people is not hard to find at all. If you know the pattern, I always give this example. So if somebody's company is, let's say, macbook.com, and their email pattern is aisha@macbook.com, just follow that pattern with the person's name. You don't even need to ask anybody, like, oh, do you have this person's email? Message them on LinkedIn and send your page. So again, the organizations are easy. They're in your face. It depends on what you want. If it's Punch you want to freelance for, who is their editor? Email their editor. Message them on LinkedIn. Message them on Twitter. I promise you that if your story is compelling enough, they will reply you. The only way they won't reply is if, one, they didn't see it, two, they don't think you are interesting enough or the story is interesting enough. So there's no specific website that you can go to. Just find the media organization or the organization you want to freelance for. Don't message like info@macbook.com. Find a specific person, the editor. Yeah, no, there's no info. Find a specific person, message them anywhere. But specific to, I would like to say though that different organizations like to be pitched to in different ways. So you really have to find out how one organization likes to be pitched to. So if you send a pitch to Al Jazeera, the same way you send a pitch to Punch, and let's say the Punch editor is maybe nicer, or the Punch editor has stated many times on the website that this is how I like to pitch you. You're not going to use Al Jazeera's format. They're not going to look at it. And let's have in mind that these people they get so many emails from people like you every day. So you have to make it stand out. It's going to be irritating if you're now pitching to them in a way they've said they don't like to be pitched to. They're going to just close it. So really, the most important thing is, first of all, do your research on the kind of organization and writing you want to do, and then link it to, and then just pitch based on that. That's how you get it. I want to say that it's hard because for every idea or story that you think you want to write, that you think is interesting, somebody has thought about how to do it in a better way. So I think you should always try to state in your pitch why your story is important. Like I always tell people that when you want to pitch to me, for example, go straight to the point. Don't do shalaye like, hi, my name is Aisha Salahuddin. I'm a writer, this and that. I found a very interesting story about somebody called Mutiat and why I think the color black on her is interesting. Then after you see why you think is interesting, see why you think is good for that particular media publication. So let's say you are pitching to CNN now, and it's very local. Maybe it's something about something in Lagos. You have to explain to CNN that is in maybe CNN Atlanta why they should care about something in Lagos. So you have to really give them a reason to like, oh, well, this is something that will affect you globally as well, because Lagos has the highest population, is the biggest city by population in Africa. Something that will interest them, make them know. Same thing for if you're pitching to local media. Now you're saying something about, I'm going to be very honest, when you're pitching to local media and you say you want to make plenty money, you're not going to make plenty money. That's the truth. But what you are going to get is the experience. So first of all, you're going to have something to fall back on, such as somebody says, what have you even written before? What's the content that you have? You can say, no, look at what I have. Like, send them links to your work, to your article. Use it to build a portfolio. The truth is, local media is not going to pay you plenty money. It's just the truth, because the media business is very hard. They're still trying to even pay their staff. They're trying to figure out how to provide security for their own journalists, things like that. So it's very hard for them to now see someone outside and say, you know what, we'll pay you plenty money. It's not their fault. It's just how the media business is set up. It's not very profitable. So don't come with that mindset at first that I'm going to make plenty money from this. It's not true. But you're going to gain experience. You're going to have links to fall back on. You're going to have networks with many editors who will know you. And you'll be surprised that these same editors, they will say, I have a friend in so and so. She's looking for somebody that can write something like this or provide content like this. Let me link you, things like that. That's the way you build yourself up. But for international media, you are going to almost always get paid. And it's really good for you. So I always say, when you want to pitch to international media, make sure it's very strong and solid. Let them, want you based on your pitch, like, this is how I'm going to be. And I promise you that if your story is good, if your writing is good, they'll keep coming back to you, because they remember, we need a freelancer in Nigeria for social story. What about that girl that wrote that article about Mutia at that time? Okay, they'll email her, things like that. But it's hard at first, but you can really get to it. There's a website called IJNet. They usually post opportunities for fellowships in writing, content, freelance, things like that. You can check it out. Almost always posting things like that for scholarships. So I think it's a good place to start. And it's a good place to follow editors, all these guys in these organizations. They always share opportunities. And lastly, I want to say, just make sure you always share your work. If you do something in content, share it on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on social media is very, very important, because compared to traditional media, your thing gets shared faster. Before you know it, everybody's reading it. Before you know it, everybody's looking at it. That way, sometimes it might be the guys that need freelancers coming to you. You might not even be the one that will be chasing them if they see your work and then, this person can actually do this. So always share your work, but make sure it's good, Sha. Please don't share.
So I like that. Make sure it is good. Stop sharing. Somebody said, what's the website you mentioned? So that they can write it down.
Okay, I'll write it. I'll put the link in the
chat. Okay, so Majid, where are you? I'm back to you now. And the question I have for you is quite similar to what Aisha just answered. Where's Majid? And the question is that on my path to a career to come and compete with you in your data analytics, if I ever pass statistics, that is, what are the secrets you would share? Minus the one you already shared, that I have to be good in maths, which is making me go back to where I've come from. What are the secrets you would share with somebody who's interested in having a career in data analytics? What's the secret to get into the top fast, or just finding relevance?
Yeah, so I would say, okay, apart from the technical skills, like domain knowledge matters a lot. Like if you have like a background knowledge about the industry you're working. So let's say you're a data scientist in the finance industry. You understanding like the basics about finance like will help you a lot, because you easily, like, you will know how some of the things in finance, or like some of the trends and everything, could affect or could impact your model. And like you won't be able, like, you can't compare yourself to any other person that just like have idea about data science in general and doesn't have knowledge about the field. So like that will help a lot too. So also I would say like data science and analytics is not really hard like that if you can like hack it. So understanding the core concepts of machine learning, the algorithms, how they work. So like if you understand all those algorithms, you know how to like you know how to prepare your data sets for a particular kind of algorithm, you know the algorithm to use for a particular kind of problem, like you won't really have issues. You'll be getting fantastic models. Then also like I, another secret I would like to share is that like you don't be surprised if like you um if like if you've learned so many things in data science and like you get into like you get your first experience, or like you get an experience, or you get a job opportunity working as a data scientist, and you don't get to do some of the deep things that you're expecting, because data science mean different things to different organizations. For some people it is just like someone that can use Excel very well, like Excel for data analysis. For some people is like a big data engineer, someone that can handle databases and stuff. Like, so for some people is building deep learning models, like complex models. So like you shouldn't be surprised. So for some people it's just building dashboards, so like you shouldn't be surprised. Then also like it's not every time that you have to build models. Like sometimes you just doing basic statistics, or like trying like doing visualization
Ah,
to solve the whole problem.
who's that?
Like, could answer a lot of questions that could add value to the organization. So like you have to be very sure that it is worth building or following the complex routes. So that's another thing. Then also like for me, what I do is that like I follow a lot of influential guys in my field, like on LinkedIn. I see their posts. Whenever I see useful resources, like I just like copy the link and put it on my mail, like send it to my mail, and like maybe give it like a topic, that a subject that I'll be able to remember. So anytime I want to solve a problem that has to do with that, I just need to search my mail for useful resources. I don't need to be going up and down, checking Google up and down to like waste time without getting any useful resources. So that helps me a lot. So it helps me a lot
That's
too.
smart.
Yeah.
That's a tip I'm definitely keeping for my non-data analytics career. That's quite smart, particularly because you think you pinged it and then you go back and you can't find it and you're wondering where did it go. Okay, that's
Yeah.
really, really smart. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing that. Whoever's paying attention to that, I've gotten a number of nuggets there. Stalk all the people that are relevant in that industry. Is there an hashtag on LinkedIn? Or what do you
Yes,
follow on LinkedIn? Like a thread or what?
I am on like like most. So I sometimes I check Google most influent like most top groups to join for data analytics and
Uh,
data science on LinkedIn.
Oh,
I join everything.
mm.
Like I check top influencers in data science fields. I can follow them, connect
You
with
do
them
the search on Google or on LinkedIn?
on Google. On like I check different rankings. Like when I check Google, I'll check different blog posts about the top guys and top groups. So I'll compare all of them and like follow all, or I can even follow all the people that they mentioned.
Like
Then
just follow.
I follow.
Okay,
Then
good.
when my friends, like when I see some of these top influencers, when I see them refer to other top influencers, I follow those ones too, like that, like just like
Mm.
a networking. Like I just keep following
Like
the
if this top person can endorse that person, then that person must really be good.
exactly. So
Yeah,
what I see on my LinkedIn page
nice.
is mostly data science related stuff. Once I open my LinkedIn, I
So it's
see
not like you're seeing people that are just saying I got first class. No, that is none of
I
your
see those
business.
ones, most of them are like related to my field. So I keep learning like once I open LinkedIn.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's really nice. Okay, so no, this is Majid. Mr. Rashid, because Mr. Rashid, are you on? So we're moving on from one data analyst to another. And my question for you, because Majid already shared all the secrets with us, is that what are the top tools that people are using in your industry now? Like, what are the top tools for me to become an excellent data analyst if I put my mind to it?
Thank you
Or
very
those
much.
people that are already in data analyst, what are the top tools that will help them?
Thank you very much. I think Majid has answered some few questions around that, but I would add just some few comments to what he has already said. So for people who wants to probably look online to see who are the best people to follow, there are platforms already that has been designed for anybody who wants to join as a beginner. I would say Kaggle is a very good platform. Um, Data Camp is a very good platform. Then DataCase is also a very good platform. So there are different platforms that some organizations have created to make sure that people who wants to start a journey in the line of data science have an opportunity to start their career and move on in that journey. So also around the tools you need to achieve some few things in the line of data science. So it depends on what exactly you want to do and which industry are you playing. So I would give you two examples. Um, I've been in the FMCG industry for the past 3 to 4 years, and I've worked with various companies because I work with a consulting company. So when you work with a consulting company, you have opportunities to work with different FMCG platform companies. So the number one tool for you as a data analytics person or a data analytics person or a data analyst is Microsoft Excel. There are a lot of things you can use Microsoft Excel to do in the FMCG industry. And the second tool for you is Microsoft Power BI or Tableau or any one of those visualization tools. And one thing you need to understand is there are different things some of these softwares does. So for instance, if you are an expert in Microsoft Excel, there's a way you can actually build Microsoft Excel and automate all your work around what you do in the FMCG industry. And I will give another example. If you're working in the telcos, probably you're working in the telecommunication industry, like MTN, Airtel, Globacom, or any one of them. So you must have a very good knowledge of SQL, that's structured query language. So it is just a language that you use. And in my own career as a data scientist, the simplest language I've ever learned is SQL, because it's just like, go and bring water for me, go and fetch water for me. So that's just the way SQL is. So if you are in the telco, because you deal with large amount of data in the telcos. Say for instance, you're working with MTN, for instance, for a call that a person dial on MTN, you could have 300 data points coming in, and that what make them a big data. So it's the versatility of the data that sometimes make a data a big data. So if someone dials a call now, you have 300 data points, and all these 300 data points are different information, and you can analyze different things from them. So all of these are very important when you want to enter the line of data analytics. So the first thing you must decide is, which industry am I playing and what am I doing in the industry? So if you're working in the banking sector, for instance, banking sector requires that you know much around how to optimize the work of a data engineering through cloud integration and cloud optimization. So there are Azure, there are AWS and other cloud providers, which you can actually learn around how you can build some little chatbot or little optimization bot that can help a bank to improve their process and improve their work. And also maybe an SQL would actually be better for you in this industry. So for you to know which tools is better is for you to know, in my industry, which tool is the best or is the most used tools. But generally, Microsoft Excel is one of the most universal tools that everybody uses in the industry.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last question for me before we move on to the questions from the audience is going to our engineer in the house. Where are you? Aha, Mr. Kazim, this is for you. It's quite simple. I believe that you have actually touched on it earlier, but I just want you to put it into perspective. What would you say that your knowledge of, because there were a lot of companies have downsized, would you say that your knowledge of a foreign language played a big role in you keeping your job? Or should all of us go and enroll in German school?
Well, I would not say entirely. At the entry level, it did because it really struck the company that, oh, really? So it was more of a way of really compensating me, for having achieved that great feat. But then over time, the essence of even learning the language reduced drastically because we used to have so many Germans in the company, and because of the local content law and everything, so it's now predominantly Nigerians there. So learning German is good for you. That if you leave the company for elsewhere, or you want to even travel to Germany to pursue your career. So, well, on that note, I felt, oh, this language, because I'm really a lover of languages. I like the fact that I could speak German, and then over time, I felt I currently I currently work for in Nigeria, and we have so many francophone countries around us. So what it means is, as a sales manager, we tend to focus on certain region. I currently look after Nigeria, so I was now thinking ahead, like, look, okay, what if I'm able to speak French, so I could also take control of the other um, neighboring countries. It could be a great benefit for me because in interviews you want to have some skills to put on the table that will really entice the interviewer. So that was the reason why I chose to really study language. And it's been working very fine for me because while I even communicate with my colleagues outside Nigeria, based in Germany, because that's where the headquarters is. So anytime I really speak German with them, they tend to be more receptive, unlike ordinary people, ordinary person calling them. So it's been a very wonderful advantage over time, for me. Well, learning foreign language, if not really very useful now, it could be a stepping stone for you in the very near future. So I want to recommend whoever has the flair for languages, go ahead. There are a lot of languages school in Lagos. We have Goethe Institute in Lagos. We have Alliance Française here also in Lagos. So you could just, and the time we have now, since we have a lot of time, but then it's just a preparative time for us, for what is going to happen in the future. So we want to use this time judiciously to ensure that we, having something to show for, the lockdown period, in our, career in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So I want to grow up to be like those people who have a lot of time in this lockdown. Really, I really wish. Now you're making me feel like, do people actually have a lot of time? Okay, so there are a lot of people that have a lot of time, and if you're not doing anything with your time, definitely a foreign language is one thing to do. And then there's data analytics. Mr. Majid, what you are on now, so you can. So, Mr. Majid, please go on. We are now at the freestyle stage where anybody in the audience can send in their question, whether it is via chat or you can actually come on the speaker to ask the question.
Yeah, so thank you. So I want to buttress the point that Aisha raised about pitching oneself. So to my, like, I want to relate it to my personal experience. So like I got into KPMG through like pitching myself via code mails. So like the same way she said that she like got the email address, that she checked the standard format for the email address and tried to send them mails. So that was basically the same thing I did. So after like working on projects upon projects, posting on LinkedIn, trying to like sleepless nights and everything. So like a friend of mine told me about that. So like I came up with a very strong code mail that I gave to like some friends to help me review and like see if it was compelling enough for the people I want to send it to like respond to me. So I got email address for about, I think, 45 different people, from KPMG, from Deloitte, from PwC. So like I sent the mail to all of them the same day, the same time. So like luckily for me, I got about, I think, 90% response rates. I was lucky enough. So like one thing that happened was that, like, one funny thing that happened was that during my recruitment process, like, so one of the HR like told me that like they actually, like, the partners like in the division, they actually organized one meeting like that, and one of them just brought up the matter that there's this boy like this, that his name is Moji Dabisiga. I sent a mail this. The other one too by the side said, like, Moji Dabisiga, he also sent it to me one time. Like, all of them were like, this guy, this same guy, this same guy. And like all of them, like, they recommended me. So like that was one of the reasons why I got into like KPMG, and like that code mail really helped. So I think it's something that people should also look into, like making use of code mail to like pitch yourself to get opportunities. That helped me to start my career in data science and analytics.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you have a question, thank you for adding that code mail. I think that if there's anything I'm taking away from this chat is that you just need to be audacious. Put yourself out there. You can't just sit down and wait for some people to tell you or people to open doors for you. You need to just keep trying, get into everybody's faces until someone pays attention. Thank you. Okay, so can I have, if you have any question, please raise your hand, and then you'll be called to put on your mic. But I'm trying to look for questions here that, but I think particularly all the questions that I have has been answered. Specific course or learning platform for beginners, all of that have been answered in between all the pitches. So Ganiat Bakare, you please go on. Please go on. I see you raising your hand. Please go on to ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Please, my question is, okay, my question is on the context writing and freelance. Are you with me?
Yes, I can
Hello?
hear you.
Okay. My question is on the freelancing stuff. Please, the speaker, the Aisha Salaudin, please, I actually want to know more about the freelancing website, like the Freelancer, the Fiverr, and amongst others. And is it actually so tiring or so demanding? Though I'm into it, but things to get job, as she said, is somehow. But how do one increase in the ability to get customers and the like? Thank you.
So I don't really understand the question. Are you asking what exactly you understand what you're asking?
I think that hello, can you hear me, Aisha?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that she started or she's just starting, and she just probably wants to know how hard it is. And yeah.
Oh, it's really hard, like I said.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, it's
Excuse
really
me,
hard.
Muchet. So Aisha, I think
Nah.
she wants to know about our question is actually out of your what's it called, your context, because she wants to know about sites like freelancer websites, where you get jobs as a freelancer, like the Upworks of this world. So our question is more around that how can she optimize how can she increase our chances of getting jobs from those kind of sites? And that's the question she.
Okay. Thank you. That makes sense. So I'm not sure. Can people please mute? Because it's so odd when you're trying to talk and then you hear music in the background. Um, I'm not really. I don't know if I can really help with that question. I have to do a research on freelancing websites that can help because not my terrain. But what I want to say is, just as a way to optimize how to be able to use those websites well, first of all, have a profile or portfolio. Such that, because most of those websites, as far as I know, they demand that you upload like samples of your work automatically, so that when there's something similar in the related field that you've uploaded, let's say something in a news beat, for example, content on, let's say, Nestle water, based on the profile that you've uploaded, the AI of the website or whatever optimizes for people like you, like, oh, there's someone with a profile on Nestle water, we need something, content on Nestle water. And so they come out to you. So I think, first of all, just make sure your portfolio is airtight. You have everything that shows your work, shows how competent you are, things like that on the site. And then just continuously creating whatever type of content you want, whether it's video, whether it's articles, such that you have something to show when you put yourself out or your profile on those websites. But relating to those websites in specific, I don't have those details. Maybe what I'll do is, after this call, I'll just ask my friends and that know about this, and then maybe they'll give Izzy or something so that she can share or something like that. But yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. The next person, I have somebody's hand up. Where are the men in this class? I'm getting just ladies and ladies. Okay, so the next person is Sister Nafisa Abdurrahim. Nafisa Abdurrahim, please unmute and ask your question.
This officer. So my question is about the data science. Like, my question is that, can you start with Python, like learning Python, if you have to go into data science, or what are the main basic things to do? Because I'm kind of confused. Like, I don't even know which programming language should I go for first. Is it Python? Is it Java? I don't actually know, because I like machine learning, but I don't know where to start from. So another question I want to ask is, I'm actually a final year student, and I'm my I'm taking up a topic which is artificial neural network in bankruptcy prediction, general framework, and cost validation analysis. So the topic is actually kind of broad, because I don't know too much of machine learning. So I want to ask the one of our lecturers that or one of our teachers that they should just shed more light on the topic. Like, what do I need to know? The basic part that I need to know. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, so so this goes to Majid, and who's taking the answer? We have two data analysts in the house.
Sorry, let me quickly chip in some few things around that. So to actually start learning, so for me, I think you need to know what exactly you want to do as a data scientist. So sometimes it might not necessarily that you are learning Python to get some things achieved, because there are other programming language that you can actually learn. It's not just Python, but because Python is a multi-purpose language, that's why it has a lot of people that learn Python. Because Python, you can use Python for data science. You can as well use Python for building softwares, and for the projects you are working on. So for me, let me buttress that very well. For me, whatever you want to do, you need to understand what tools is best for me to use. So, and I've explained some few things before now that if you are in the FMCG sector, you must understand Excel perfectly well before you can before you can say I am a data scientist or I am a data analytics person or a data analyst, and you understand Microsoft Power BI. There are ways you can actually learn all these softwares that helps you integrate some other field software like Microsoft Azure. Like sometimes I used to build a sentiment analysis using Microsoft Azure Cognitive Service API. So all of these things depends on what problem you are solving. So it's not necessarily that you're learning Python. Before I started learning Python, I was actually at the level of a senior analyst. I was not learning Python because at this current time, many people who are working with you as a colleague in the office don't understand. They don't have the knowledge, or they are not tech savvy as you are. So you actually need to bring it down to the level of what they understand. And at times, people don't care about what tools you use to solve problems. What they care about is the result. So say, for instance, I have a GCU who used to send things to me. Doesn't care about what tools I use. Maybe I use Python, maybe I use R programming. So the only thing he wants is, Rasheed, have you solved this problem? I've solved it, take, and I give it to him. And then for the project you're working on, I would say that for an undergraduate person, if you're not at the master's level, you should look at a project that best have a lot of reviews and literatures that you can explore, so that you can have more literature and more analysis to your project. I would say that today you might not be able to see more around neural networks. You can see a lot of projects which many people have done outside Nigeria, but you might not be able to actually see the work that works within the context of African continent, or probably within the scope of Nigeria. So I would say that you can look back into your project work and look at what best suits the current situation of Nigeria. That's the best thing I think you should do. But if you still want to look hard for neural network, it's a very complex aspect of machine learning, I must tell you, because it's a serious deep learning. You need to understand many algorithms, and you need to do a lot of optimization before you get your result, because sometimes your model might even probably be predicting wrongly. So you have to do a lot of work. And I don't think some of the lecturers in the Nigerian universities have that patience to actually wait for you to do all of those things before you get your results. Perhaps you can
Okay,
actually.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sister Roida, Roida Hamad, please unmute and ask your question. Is she still there?
Can I come in? Please, I have a question.
You're not raising your hand.
I don't know what's happening. I can't do that here.
Okay, since you are on, please.
Okay. So so I don't even know the person to direct my question to. So either of the two analysts in house can assist. Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, so I would like to ask either of the analysts whether there is a platform already in place where a starter like myself who wants to become a data analyst or data scientist, like a learning platform where people are already working on a project. My background is geoscience, but over the last 3 or 4 months, I've been taking some courses from Data Quest, WorldPoint University on data analytics. So I'm familiar with Python and several of the tools. So the problem now is I want to learn based on a project, working on a project. So I'm looking for people who already have 1 or 2 things they are working on that I can learn with. So I don't know if the data analysts in-house, the two of them can assist with that. Like someone who would mentor me that I would learn from, or if there's a platform, a cloud platform like that I can learn from. I'd like to hear from them.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just.
Okay, Majid.
Sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, so for projects, if you want to work on projects, I know of a particular platform.
Please put off your microphone if you are not the speaker. Thank you.
I
Okay,
know of a,
Majid, please continue.
yeah, I know of a platform whereby like they put projects, like they put projects on the platform whereby people can join the projects and like work, they group the people into teams and like they work on live projects, like real world problems. So I don't know if that might be helpful. It's known as, like the platform is known as Omdena. Maybe you can check it out. So when you go to the website, you see a lot of projects that have been completed. You see new projects. You can just sign up and they'll like put you on a team to work together, like, and you guys will brainstorm and like try to deliver value out of the data. In fact, like it's a very nice platform for you to learn, because you start from the scratch of the problem. You might be the one to search for the data set, but like there are a lot of people, like both white guys, like Africans from all over the world. So you guys will brainstorm together to come up with a solution. I think each project span a period of like 2 months. I think so, yes. Then you can also join like communities like Data Science Nigeria. Like they always bring up challenges or competitions whereby they'll give you data sets to work on, like real world data sets to work on to build models. I don't know if that helps.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure that would help.
Sorry to buttress that. Thank you, Majid. Yeah. So I think Omdena is one of the best platforms to learn, actually. But I would say that if you already have some knowledge around Python or probably R programming, I think Kaggle is one of the best platform as well. If you just Google it, kaggle.com, it's one of the best sites as well to lay your hands on different projects. You would see different projects that has been worked on. You would see different submission around each project. And you can even see some of the solutions, some of the iterations that many people have made, different submissions that people have made over the time, and you would see how they solve some of the problem. And you would also see many people you can follow on this website. And I think Kaggle is like the #1 data science platform in the world, if I'm not making a mistake here. So Omdena, I think, is actually in Africa. There are two good platforms, but if you have some good knowledge in Python or R programming, I think you can actually look at Kaggle as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kodri Abubakar, please unmute and ask your question. Mr. Kodri Abubakar. Okay, so if he's not available, we move on. Akinkunmi Olasukomi, please ask your question. Please unmute and ask your question.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
All right. My question is about the speaker that talked about. My question is directed to the speaker that talked about the campus. So I'm a little bit confused in such a way that actually I've learned content writing from someone, but I never felt that I'm good enough in that regard. So I proceeded to study and to learn content marketing online. Also, so that was online. So now
You see this audio. Proceed to another person, please.
Okay, Ajara Shaibu, Ajara. Please unmute and ask your question. I guess, Miss Ajara, I just sent you a prompt to unmute. Please ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my question goes to Miss Aisha. Okay. Miss Aisha, are you there, please? Can you hear me?
Please.
Okay. The thing is that I'm a fictional writer. I majorly write things on fiction. So recently, I just took up the let's say, the passion to write content writing. So I'll just say I'm a starter. I've checked some sites with like Udemy and YouTube on content writing. So I just want to know if there are other sites in which I can learn more from it.
Okay, so you want to learn more for content writing. What kind of content? Like,
okay, I was thinking maybe on business or just majorly business though.
okay, so the reason why I asked what kind of content is because it depends on what type of content you're interested in. I can say, oh, like focus on this website. But anyway, if you're interested in content as a whole, general how to write it, I think YouTube is a very good start, which you're already doing. They
Yes.
aren't like specific places where they will say, okay, you know what, today we're teaching you content. Like it's a mix of different things. So if
Yeah.
you're interested in the content of business, look for that on YouTube. You're already on a good start with Udemy. To be honest, like you look like you're on the right path. There's something called masterclass as well, although it's not free. So you'd have to register. They're like different what's the word, masters of different fields who actually teach you themselves. That's why it's called masterclass. So you'd be learning, say, journalism from an Amampo, or you'd be learning machine learning from, I don't know, whoever is big in that field, things like that. So check out masterclass.com. But really what I want to tell you is that there's no better way to learn content writing than actually following. When I mean following, not like on social media, like looking at the work of people who are great content writers and one, imitating their work, understanding their process. Like the best way to learn is to actually follow people who do it and practice. So what you want to do is look out for content writers in the specific kind of content you're interested in. Is it video? Is it anything, Sha? Look for them online on social media. If you can message them for tips, for introductions, if you can look for an internship, it doesn't have to be something big, just so that you can learn. I think that's a really good way. The best way is to practice and be consistent. So Udemy is good, YouTube is good, but please try to find an internship, try to find people directly so that they can put you through. That really helps.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I think we're taking the last couple of questions because we're running out of time. And okay, so all the other people here still on this list, I've called them. Is Godwin Abubakar still here? The rest of them are,
No,
I believe their questions have been answered. Wa alaikum salam.
apologies, I was unable to unmute.
Okay.
So thanks so much. Jazakumullah khairan to our speakers. So my question is directed to Mr. Majid and Mr. Rasheed. So please, finding it difficult to like measure my progress on Excel and Power BI. So I don't know how can it, because I've also messaged some people on LinkedIn, maybe for mentorship and to help me, but I couldn't. Most of them didn't reply. In fact, none of them replied. So please, I want to. How do I measure my progress on Excel and Power BI? So, and to Mr. Kazim. So I'm also an electrical engineering student. So I want to like go into instrumentation and control. So, but I want to ask also, how do I go about that? Because the training I'm seeing online, the training fee is somehow much, is very, very high. So for a student like me, maybe after I'm done with the program, how do I go about that? Thanks so much.
Okay, so do I go first or Majid? Okay, Majid, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead first.
Okay, yeah. You mentioned, of course, for someone who is interested in being a control engineer or instrumentation engineer, is to go through some certification, well, we have a couple of trainings on automation control, but then they don't come so cheap. They are quite expensive because where you deploy this knowledge where maybe, for example, you have FMCG, Coca-Cola, even oil and gas platform, you do have a lot of control setup. They are really very sophisticated training. So that's why it's very expensive. But for someone like you who might not be able to afford the costs now, I guess there are a lot of online, webinars you could take as well, just to prepare your mind, on what the concept is. Then once you have an idea of what the concept is, when you have the money, of course, you can now do because nobody will even allow you to work on certain machine that you're not certified to work on. So did that answer that question?
Definitely. Thanks so much, sir.
Okay, so finally, the last question from the audience from my end is going to go to Mr. Bello Sikurulai. Mr. Bello, please unmute and ask your question.
Sorry, my second question is depending.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Your second question was what?
Yeah, so I think I want to answer his second question. He was asking about measuring progress as regards maybe Excel or analytics. Yeah, so my own, like, the thing that can come to my head right now is that it depends. So if, let's say, if you are working, if you are like currently working in an organization that has to do with using Excel to build, maybe like do analysis and stuff, you can just work based on feedbacks that you get. Maybe like what's always the end product of that your Excel. You cannot just be building the Excel for fun. Like, what exactly are you using it to do? Like, are you using it to add value? Is it generating insights that's like maybe after your presentation, are people always telling you that nice presentation, or are people always sleeping or something like that? So based on like all those kind of things, you can just assess yourself that, oh, like, was my presentation bad, or what did I not do well, and something like, or you can ask from people how your presentation was. Then if you are just like learning it on your own or something like that, you could just participate in like maybe all these kind of challenges or competitions, not necessarily machine learning model competition. Like, there are some competitions that have to do with visualization and like generating insights out of data. Like, you can just use that one to measure yourself, to see how well you're improving, and be like seeing if you are always like, if you are going higher in your rankings or something like that. Or maybe you could use platforms like Kaggle to see like if you are moving the top of the leaderboard or something like that. Then also you could, like, if it is something that is a personal stuff, you could be posting it on LinkedIn and see the kind of engagements or comments that people give about your charts. If it is an analysis or a visualization that is like very insightful and like make a lot of sense, a lot of people will comment and like commend you, or even some people will even reach out to you. So you can use all those things to like measure yourself. Like, if people are not liking my post or are not really saying anything about my listing, like, is it really making sense or something like that? Or what do I need to learn more? Or you could also ask people to like reach out to maybe mentors or something. There are several ways you can get mentors. It depends on, like, for me, like, my mentor, like my main mentor when it comes to data science, I reached out to her via LinkedIn message, but I made sure that like whatever I wanted to send to her was very compelling and she would never like want to say no to me. So like, it depends on what you are bringing to the table, and like, mentorship is like commitment. So like, you need to like show that you're really enthusiastic and like you're worth being mentored. So like, that's why some people are not ready to like give that kind of commitment. That's why they don't really respond on LinkedIn.
And that's a great point to make, because some people would ask for mentorship and they won't follow through. They will not do whatever you tell them to do. Like, I don't know what they expect from the work. So they're not committed, they don't follow through, they don't show up, etc. That's a conversation for another career talk on this lack of commitment that we see amongst young people. A lot of things that have been talked about today requires commitment, whether you are freelancing or doing what Aisha did, or doing what the analysts have done, or learning a new language like an engineer with us here has done. All of it requires commitment and self-motivation. And unfortunately, and here's the sad truth, a lot of us don't have self-motivation. We can't follow through. We keep asking for help. What we really want is not to do the work ourselves. We want people to do it and just hand it over to us and give it. And that's not the way of the world. So finally, last question is going to Mr. Bello Sipula. Please, could you ask your question and make it very prompt?
Yeah, now my question goes to Mr. Kazim. While during his presentation, he talked about fluency. Fluency is quite difficult to learn a new language. So I'd like to ask him, what methods are you going to recommend for someone learning a new language and is not surrounded by people that speak the language? What are the best methods are you going to recommend to improve one's fluency in this kind of situation? I'm not sure.
Fluency, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now.
I'll just tell you what I was doing with German. French seems still, it's easy for you to get people speak French around you in Nigeria because you have a lot of people entering into Nigeria through the border. But for German, for example, I had to go online, check some platform where I could really, put to bear the communicative dexterity of the so-called German language. So I belonged to some WhatsApp group. I made friends. I had to, I call them even when it's not necessary, just to ensure that, I'm still able to speak this language. And I do some checks every now and then to see, okay, well, I think I'm still up to the task. So you just have to commit yourself, go out of your comfort zone and ensure you're able to speak. So online, the opportunity online is bountiful. You cannot really entirely, it's inexhaustible. Let me put it that way. So just connect with people that speak that language you are really interested in. Try to speak at regular interval to ensure that you are not just only able to write or the grammar aspect, but are you able to really communicate for people to understand what you say.
Okay, great point. Might I add that there's a guy whose content I follow on Instagram is a Korean guy who speaks Arabic. He's a revert and he learned to speak Arabic. And what he does is that what he did or does, he opened a TikTok page, and then he would do different skits speaking Arabic. And one of the things that I liked about what he's doing is that it's not just, so he learns, Arabic has different dialects and different sounds. So he does this challenge where he challenges himself with somebody from Egypt, for instance. So how do you say this in Egypt? So, or how do you say this in Beirut? How do you say this? And it's quite interesting. I don't speak Arabic, at least not good, but I enjoy that he's so passionate about the language that he's creating something. So because he's actively putting out content using Arabic, creating challenges and meeting new people, a lot of people are reaching out to him and helping him become better. And in fact, then he does some pranks where he speaks Arabic because you're not expecting a Korean person to be Muslim, much less interested in Arabic. So a lot of people get, and it's fun, but it's an idea you can definitely challenge for yourself. Create a page, write the German Nigerian. You will get a lot of people entering. You even get opportunities. I know a Nigerian MC that I really envy. I can't remember the guy's name, but he speaks at least 5 languages and he can moderate. So you see him, if they need a moderator for an international program or a program where they have a lot of international communities in the country, who do you think they'll call? Of course they'll call him. They're not going to call me. English is the only one I speak well. The Kuala Yoruba self can struggle sometimes. So those are the kind of things you could do. It will be interesting. You'll be creating content. Content is the new oil. You will also be challenged to speak the language better. You will have some of your audience who would correct some of the mistakes you make. And I think that's the new millennial way of doing it.
Sorry, maybe just to
that's
add to what you had said. Yeah, the person you spoke about, I also saw him on LinkedIn. So I was really very much fascinated with the way he could control French, German, Spanish, even the Nigerian
and then
language as well, Hausa, Yibo, Yoruba. I mean, it's quite amazing.
without
So I
accent,
go
without any accent.
without accent. Absolutely. I mean, he speaks it
Very nice.
very correctly. So what I did, I mean, just to give you some insight on how you go about it, I connected with a guy on LinkedIn. We got talking. Even I have his number now. I do call him at times, because what I also did was the fact that, well, in my own case, I could speak French and German. So that's already an inroad to getting to connect with him better, because he was already really fascinated about the fact that, okay, I have someone who is also trading his own
Yes,
path.
I'm not alone.
Yeah.
That's good. So yes, connect with people. Social media is probably the most powerful tool ever, and it has helped all of us. I would say that the only reason I have a job or a business as whatever I am is social media. So you should use it too. One thing that is definitely clear from all our panelists is that if you want it, it can happen, but you need to do the work. And like Aisha keeps saying, said over and over, it is not easy, but it's possible. And I think she says that because a lot of people, some of these things are bins. We have to put in the work. It is you're Muslim, oh, because you've not graduated, oh, because you are 45 years old, oh, because you have graduated. Whatever excuse you keep giving yourself, it has nothing to do with it. Social media has definitely helped us to level most of the playing field. So you can actually do it if you're willing to do the work and connect with everyone on LinkedIn, on whatever social media where your people are. Go find them. It's not going to drop on your lap. It is not going to drop on your lap. You have to work for it. Okay, so before I end this, do we have any last words from all the panelists? Something you think we didn't have an opportunity to touch on? One last advice, something that you like to leave with us before we say our goodbyes? Is anyone still there? Aisha? Okay, good.
The only thing that I want to say is that in whatever field you choose or whatever practice, consistency is the key. You're not going to get better unless you keep practicing, unless you keep working at it, unless you keep writing. Yeah, so just be consistent. And the more consistent you are, the better you get at it, because you're learning new things. You're no longer making old mistakes because you now understand how to do it better. You're networking with more people. So be more consistent and don't be afraid to put yourself up for scrutiny, because it's going to be hard at first, but eventually you get the hang of it. So I guess that's just my advice.
Okay, thank you very much. Very, very succinct one. Aloida, Hamad, or anybody else, if you have a question, drop it in the chat. We would leave the chat open for any of the speakers to answer you, but you can't ask any question anymore. We're already rounding up. Just drop it in the chat. Hopefully the person you are asking will reply you, or you can send it to them privately. Okay, so Mr. Rasheed, last word.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan jazila. I really appreciate this. What I actually want to add, what I've said was the first question I answered, and that was around how can people really get to make some little change or little fund while they're still at home, while they're not in school. So for me, I think you just need to have a laptop and look around, and then you can as well connect with people that are doing things around research, because because I started in the field of research. So field research is not really what people want to do now. So there are a lot around online research and all of that. And currently I'm doing one for someone. So you can just look out there and look at some companies. So I think day before yesterday, I actually logged into MTN. So MTN looked around media research and analytics. So if you are very good around research, or you want to actually
Okay, thank you very much. So somebody is asking for the skills that are relevant from digital marketing. We don't have a digital marketer on the panel today. So, and if there's any question, if there's any of the things that have been discussed that is relevant, that I would say is relevant to your question, I would say that is consistency and learning communication. You need to go take a effective communication class if you want to be an amazing digital marketer or digital marketing classes. But we don't have a panel. None of our panelists are digital marketers. Maybe next time you can bring back the question. So Majid, one last word. What's it down? What's it down?
I want to
Majid, so somebody says, what part of data science can be done by someone with bad mathematics? But I think you've already answered that. But if I don't give you the question, I may not eat dinner. So
yeah, so like okay, you could just like you could just focus
you
on
don't
maybe
have to be good in math.
no, like you might not go too deep, but like you could just focus on maybe visualizations or communicating insights, data storytelling or something like that. Like maybe how to like communicate your findings from data, from analytics to maybe a business executive or something like that. You could concentrate on that or like specialize in that. You could also specialize
Okay,
in
so
like
somebody that takes the data and interprets it into stories.
yes, or like try to bring value out of like try to make the main guys understand the value that they can see from.
Okay, like creating a design thinking path, design thinking path for it. Okay.
Yes, communicating it like to large audience or something
Okay,
like
good.
that.
Thank you.
Sorry,
I hope the question has been answered.
I wanted to add something. So like from my experience so far, I would say that like technical skill, like you knowing how to code, you knowing how to do data science, you knowing about engineering, like can get you the job and like can move you going, but like can make you going. But one thing that will propel your career is like you learning like your soft skills, like communication, how you relate with people at your workplace, your boss, the kind of like your leadership skills, like your
interpersonal skills.
yes, like those things will propel your career faster. Team spirit, like maybe you're not having issues with your coworker or something like that. Those things will help like propel your career.
Behavioral management skills, EQ, interpersonal skills, listening skills, everything that I teach in my office. Thank you, Majid, for that. Thank you. And finally, Mr. Kazim.
Okay, so I must say it's an honor being on the panel and learning from the panelists as well. But what do I have to tell everyone? I mean, this is not only related to engineering, but I want to say we need to be an improved version of ourselves. We need to be the embodiment of continuous improvement. I would then leave us with this quote: good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes better and your better becomes best. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking us back to primary school with that, particularly because we're Muslims and we're people of Insan, and consistently we must continue to strive to be better. We are never going to be perfect. There's always the field will continue to change. The moment you become Ronaldo in 2019 and you thought 2020 was your year and life threw us COVID. And then all of us are back to amateur and trying to figure it out. So that's just it. So when you're good, you need to be better. The world keep moving and the playing field, what is it called? The score, the net, what do they call that? The goalpost is changed all the time. So you need to continue to catch up and improve yourself. And all that have been discussed, you will find relevant from consistency from Aisha, the hard work, and going to find your mentors and platform from our specialists, and then working on becoming the best version of yourself. You will never, never, never be on top of the game. Well, when you get to the top, there's always a new top. But whatever it is possible. It has been done. They are doing it. And hopefully, if you would do it, if you want to do it, this would motivate you to start. And that brings us to the end of the panel session, the career talk for my end. Aziz, is there anything you'd like to add to close this?
Nope.
Okay, so it's Subhana Obika that is remaining. Okay, so please, might I ask our panelists to please indulge us by dropping their social media handles, their name on LinkedIn, on anywhere we can find them to follow and learn from them. Inshallah, please share in the chat. We're going to leave the chat open for a while so that people can copy it. There'll be a lot of people asking me for Mr. Kazim's number, Aisha's handle. So can we just save me the trouble and help us drop it? Mr. Kazim says his name is Kazim Ibrahim Oluwadare. So just check it. I, for instance, always just Google people's name. It will bring out wherever they are on the internet. So if these are okay, so thank you. There's a link there from Majid with LinkedIn, and wherever else you are that you think that we can learn from you and find it relevant. So we're going to open the chat for about 5 more minutes so that you can copy that. Okay. It's been an amazing session today. I am always honored to have this opportunity to moderate this because I get to learn. I don't get a lot of opportunities to sit through any class, and this is the only chance I always get. So I am deeply grateful to have all of you from the panelists. We are really, really grateful. You've given us 2 hours of your time, and we hope that Allah in His infinite mercy makes this a huge uja for you in this life and the hereafter. May He reward you for passing on this knowledge and bless you abundantly. We are rooting for you. We are rooting for you because the way that we have even been telling everybody about all of you, Steph, we are rooting for you to take it to the top and keep making us proud. Barakallahu fikum. For all the participants, thank you so much for joining. I hope that this knowledge that has been shared today is beneficial to you on this life and the akhirah. May whatever is going on, may Allah ease all our affairs and help all of us build a livelihood that is halal and easy. For my team, my Oga at the top, Aziz, Shuaib, and Mr. Lekon, Mr. Kola Umwani, and Mr. Salami, it's always a pleasure to be in your ranks. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Barakallahu fikum. Okay, so I won't have any class until after Eid, right, Mr. Aziz? Aziz, are you still there?
Yes, no class until after end. I mean, just the